Nnennaya, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So you have a new book out. It's very exciting. Na Uche, a short collection of poems from the ancestors.
Yes.
What does Na Uche mean?
Na Uche is wisdom in Igbo. So Igbo is a language and a group of people or a tribe in southeastern Nigeria. In our tradition, we value each individual person and each individual person's intellect. So a lot of people are respected based on what they contribute to the community. So it's just another measurement of wisdom and intellect.
All 32 pages of your book was an amazing experience. And in the book, you kind of show us the experiences of an Igbo woman. Mm-hmm. For those of us who don't know, what and who is the Igbo woman?
So the Igbo woman, for me, is me. It's my mother, it's my grandmother, it's my friends. Like, she represents strength. Something that inspires me a lot in my work and inspires me as a Black woman and as a Black feminist is there's a group of Igbo women and also women from other tribes in Southeast Nigeria in 1929 and also pre-1929 during the time where it's colonial Nigeria. So the British were colonized Nigeria and were stationed in different parts of Nigeria. This is like one of the biggest like rebellions in colonial Africa. And it was done by women, Igbo women specifically. And they had a list of demands. So after this happened, a lot of women died. There was like 50 women who were killed during this time, and then there was women who had to be put on trial afterwards and testify as to what happened. And one of the things that one of these women said is that she's tired of patriarchy and also tired of the man who no book, which is like white men. Basically, in this statement, she was expressing that Igbo women were being oppressed by both the men in their communities and the men in their family, and also by white people who were coming into their country. So I think of that story, and I mean that point of history that kind of set the trajectory of Nigerian independence 40 years later.
You describe the men that your grandmothers and your great grandmothers have experienced as terrible husbands, great fathers. What do you mean when you are speaking of the men that you love so much when you identify them as terrible husbands?
There's men who can be really great fathers, and then also it's like conflicting. Like, can you be a great father if you're a really bad husband? Like, if you're verbally abusive or physically abusive to your wives, are you really a great father? My grandfather, he had 3 wives. My grandmother was married, went off when she was like 13 or 14, and her dad basically said, you can't go to school, so you have to get married. So it's not really an active choice. And like, I've interviewed my grandmother, and I asked her, like, if you could do this all over again, like, would you do it? And she said, that's not really a viable question because I didn't have a choice. So even if I could do it again, I still wouldn't have a choice. I would have to get married and I would have to be subjected to physical and verbal, violence. I think Nigerian women suffer a lot, especially in marriages, and they have unreasonable expectations and are often not humanized in relationships and in communities, even though that they play a very huge fabric in our culture, in our communities, and uphold homes, but they don't get credit for that.
So cocky.
Yes.
Tell me about that, because you have a Twitter account that's very active. Explain to us so everyone could understand and cease all the back talk.
I think it is exactly what it says, right? It's for Black women to be cocky. And I'm very intentional of not using the word confident because I think that that's a very like non-assertive way to view yourself. I specifically chose cocky because like that's a very provocative word. But like people are okay with like Kanye saying that he's cocky, right? It's okay with Kanye saying I'm a musical genius and I'm a god and I'm, but like let a Black woman say that and it's like, who do you think you are? And I think that backlash shows the more of an importance for Black women to be very cocky. People don't like that. And I like to do things that people don't like, and why people don't like it is because there's a deep hatred for Black women that's just ingrained in our society. Again, whether someone explicitly says it or not, like we live in a society that, has deep hatred for women and specifically Black women.
What type of impact do you think that your book can have on Black women across the world?
So So I'm really big on Black women's agency. So I think art is meant to be subjective on whoever is receiving it. So I hope that it moves people, that people, you know, go on this journey and people understand themselves more and understand me more as a writer and understand Black women more as a result of this. But I want the takeaway to be something that's very personal and forces people to be introspective about themselves and their experiences. So it's okay to like not understand things. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to go through a journey. It's okay to take risk. And I think that's a very beautiful human experience. So yeah, whatever people decide to take out on it, something personal. Hello, I'm Nnennaya Amuchie. I am the author of this lovely book, Na Uche, which is available on Amazon. You can just search Na Uche on Amazon, and it's available on Kindle and in print version. Or you can just hit me up personally and I can give you a signed copy. And you can also follow me on my Twitter account, which is the Afro Legalese, the Afro, and then LEGALISE, which is also my blog, theafrolegalese.com, and my YouTube channel. Everything is the Afro Legalese, so you can find me on there. Thank you.